Hi, I'm Eric with Mathews, and today we're going to talk about how to set your fill and takeaway delay timers. So, on the left-hand side here, I'm going to navigate to the grain fill settings page. And on this page, there are several timers housed down in this block. You'll notice that there's two fill signals, fill 1 and fill 2. Fill 1 is farther away from the dryer, and fill 2 connects to the dryer. Those will stage on and off when you start and stop the dryer. At the top of each dryer, there's a rotary bin switch that turns when we need more corn. That turning signal is called the call for grain. So if we look at the chart here, we can see that right when the call for grain turns on, another signal turns on, which is our grain fill 2. That's the equipment closer to the dryer. That equipment will run for the time set in this box here. Once that time has elapsed, we'll jump into the second range here, and your other fill equipment will turn on. So at this point, all of your fill equipment is running and grain is coming to the dryer. That'll continue to happen until the rotary bin switch at the top of the dryer stops turning. At that point, your call for grain goes away, but all of your fill equipment will continue to run until this timer has elapsed, at which point your fill 1 equipment will stop and your fill 2 equipment will continue to run for an additional time. One note I want to make here is if you have any concern about jamming at the top of the dryer, set these timers to 0. On the opposite side of the dryer, we have our takeaway equipment settings. This page is very similar to the fill settings page. One difference you'll notice, the takeaway 1 signal is closer to the dryer, and the takeaway 2 signal is farther away from the dryer. So, when we start our discharge, we see that the metering will not start immediately. First, any equipment tied to the takeaway 2 signal will start running, and that'll run on its own for the time set here. Once that time has elapsed, both your metering and takeaway 1 signals will start. At this point, all of the equipment from the dryer out is running, and it'll continue to do so until the metering is turned off. When the metering is shut down, all of your takeaway equipment will continue to run until this timer has elapsed. So a couple notes for each of these timers. Your fill 1 start delay should be used to prevent the fill motor from toggling on and off too frequently. We recommend having this at a value up around 45 or so. These two timers, depending on your setup, may be set to 0 or a very low value to make sure that nothing around the top of the dryer jams. This timer down here, the metering start delay, this is most common if you have an air system or some piece of equipment that has to start before the metering starts. So you can use this timer if needed. And the takeaway cleanout delay. We recommend almost everybody put a higher number here so that when the metering stops and grain stops leaving the dryer, all of your takeaway equipment will continue to run and empty out any corn. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.